As a web developer, we are all looking for ways to increase our business or revenue. I know I certainly did when I was growing my web development agency to go to from a 10K a month to all the way to six figures. And these are the two things that I figured after years of stress, painful, and trauma that actually caused my agency to increase the revenue without doing any extra work. And if you are a web developer who is still doing client work because you like it, you're comfortable, whatever your reason is, I'm not going to hold that against you. But if you want to learn how you can 10x your business revenue, so let's say if you have two clients, you could charge them 10 times the amount, is you just got to implement these two things, which I learned over the years of headache, pain, stress, and all that bullshit, which I just want to share with you so you can quickly and easily implement that. What I learned when I was doing the whole web development agency framework and I was joining my web agency to six figures and beyond was that every single client that I get, they will ask me to build a project, which I would build it. And then they would ask me, can you implement this little thing? So that I would implement that, send them an invoice. 2 weeks later, I'm still waiting for that invoice to be paid. And then I send them another friendly email to say, hey, can you please pay this invoice that I sent you 2 weeks ago? A month, 2 months, even sometime up to 3 months later, I would still not have that invoice paid. If you have been in that situation, you know what excruciating, painful that experience is, and they just want to say, "Ah!" and rip somebody's head off. But unfortunately, we can't do that. So what I learned is this: all the clients that I was working with, they were getting these tools made, but they didn't know how to monetize the tools that I was building for them. Or they didn't know how to get leads for those tools that I was building from them. So for them, it was nice to have, but it's not really doing anything for you. So for example, let's say if you get a mouse, for example, right? You get a nice little mouse, you're like, oh my god, it's amazing, and then it sits there in the corner of your desk because you don't use it as much because the mouse you already have is working fine. You just got it, it's just there. And then you look through your receipt and say, hey, can I return it within the 14 days? Because if I do, I'll get my money back. And that was the problem that I was facing with the projects that I was working on. So what did I do to change that? Every time when I was having this one-on-one meeting with the client, the number one question that I asked, this tool that I'm going to build for you, are you going to be using it to get leads so you can make more money for your business? If the person said no, then I wouldn't bother taking the course, that particular project, because it was just going to sit there and I would just go through the whole invoice email loophole and then never get paid. So that was completely a waste of time for me. And for those people who said, yes, I would need to use this tool that I want you to build just so I can get qualified leads and then turn those leads into a customer. Those are the ones that actually were motivated enough for me to finish the product that I was building for them. And I would charge them upfront 50%. And then before I even delivered to them, I asked them, like, hey, this is what it is. I show them a demo. We had a Zoom call. They pay me, and then I will send them the code that they can go ahead and implement it. And that was the part where it kind of ding hit me, like, if I can get my clients, business owners, a lead for their business so that they can make money. So if I charge them, let's say, I don't know, like $1,500, right? And then in a month's time, after I'm done with the tool that I built for them, they can get 4 qualified leads, not some bull crap where an opt-in form comes up. Like, in other words, a form comes up, someone types in their name and 123 at gmail.com, and then they will get an email saying, hey, this is the new lead. None of that bullshit, because that's crap. There's a better way that I figured out that makes a qualified lead a legit lead. That is a valid email address and a valid email address as well as the phone number as well. So once I figured that part out, the client, qualified client, and my business revenue went sky high. Like I couldn't believe it. I was like, I did nothing else. It's the same project, same code, same everything, just small little tweak here and there, and that was it. And once I started implementing, I started realizing like I'm doing the same thing over and over and over again. Why don't I systematize that? And this is where I come up with this CMS where I implement the CMS, give it to my client, implement it on their website, and then it just works like clockwork. I don't even have to do anything. And then I charge them a monthly retainer when I was doing it back in the days, where I would charge maybe like, I don't know, like $500 a year for doing absolutely nothing. And then they would just go ahead and pay that. In the event something break, I can log in and then fix it for them, and then that will be it. If anything else they need additional, obviously they will have to pay for it. And that's the framework, literally. So that CMS is something that I'm excited for you to have, so you can go ahead and implement that in your business. So in case, in the event, if somebody wants to create a customized website, you can literally just use this. You build it for them and teach them how to just tweak it, things here and there. It would literally take them like 5 minutes to tweak it, and it's up and running. And the best part, I just want to make sure, because as a developer, I want to make sure that it works on my local host on my computer. And when I upload it, I don't want to recreate the whole thing. That would be like way too much work. So the way that I built this for you web developers, especially you was watching this, you build it on your local host. You upload the file and just upload the database file, and it works like magic. You don't need to recreate anything or change any of the website URL or any of the assets like pictures, thumbnails, blah blah blah, and all that stuff. Like, it's just, think of this way. You take a file from your computer, you upload it to Google Drive, and you share that link, and it works. It's that simple. So the CMS that I built is called Shipley CMS, and you can find the link somewhere in the below, that you can literally just download. It's all open source, and there are a whole bunch of tutorials that I have already created for you to make it easy for you to actually understand how it works and what are all of the different things that it can do. It also had a built-in, literally a built-in plugin that will allow you to get leads, qualified leads for your client, so that way they can go ahead and do that. And also within that qualified leads, there's also a back end side. So in the event if your client wants to send it to their email marketing or other CMS that they are working for to qualify them even further. So for example, the convert kit is already built into it. And if there's anything customizable, you can literally just use that framework. It's already there, plug and play, boom, 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 and it's done. Second part, there's also there's a lot of features. If I started to name them right now, it's gonna be like hour long, this video. So I don't want to do that. But what I do want to do is just literally tell you a little bit about it so you can go ahead and explore it. And this CMS is just not coming from my own personal experience. I have worked with other web developers who are in the community, who are in the business for at least 10 plus years. So I got their feedback as well to build this thing to the next level. And I also implemented it where I will periodically go ahead and add any request that would make the CMS better. And there's a contact form in there. You could request for a feature or a plugin or whatever have you. I will go ahead and add that in there for you. And then within the CMS, there's an update button. You click on it, literally in 5 seconds, you will have the update. And it will tell you what this update entails. And this been testing it for like good, I want to say about 9 months. I've been testing it out on my own. Then I tested out with the other co-developers who have or who are in my inner circle. They have tested out. They have implemented in their website. They are finding that it's fast. much better than WordPress. And it gives them a lot more flexibility in terms of getting lead, making money, creating sales pages. And then also another feature that I added in there. So for example, let's just say if you created something customizable, right, for your client, that's like a regular HTML, you could literally take that code, put it into the sales page section, and it just works just like that. You don't need to do that. So think about the possibilities you can do with this particular CMS. So go ahead, give it a shot. The link will be in below. It's called a Shipley CMS. I'm excited. And I know I have already implemented all my businesses with this thing. So I can't wait for you to try it. If you love it, or if there's anything that you feel like, hey, Mark, if you could just add this thing, that will make my life a whole lot easier, because all of my clients are asking me all the time. Just go ahead, put in the request by going to the contact section, and I'll surely enough take a look at it and let you know if I can add that in there. All right, man, that's enough for this. I'm excited. So if you haven't checked it out, definitely go ahead, check it out. I'll catch you in the next one.